Hello, everyone, and welcome to Saturday Night One Shots from Gehenna Gaming. Pardon the slight affectation to my speech. I'm wearing fangs tonight. Tonight, we are very excited to be playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Dark Ages Vikings. This will be the first game, Dark Ages game, that we've done that Rick has gotten to play in instead of run, so we're excited about that. Tonight, we have some special guests with us, but for now, all I'm going to do is hand it over to our Yarskona for.
Thank you. Hello, my darlings. Good evening and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade one shot. The gods can't save you. So first, let's start by meeting our vampires. We will start with Yaima.
Hey everyone, I'm Cynthia Marie. You guys probably know me as Nellie G on Ellie by Night. Also, apologies for not speaking as clearly because I too have fangs on. Yay! Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Yaima, which is she's a Tremere. So it's my first time playing Tremere. I'm like really excited. I'll share socials later, or do you want me to do that now? What
Do that at the end.
Cool beans. I'm really excited to be here and play.
Fantastic. And Norfie?
My name is Mark. You've seen me before, VP of Marketing at Gehenna Gaming. I am super excited to be playing a V5 Viking story. Tonight, I will be playing Norfie, the Malkavian.
And Kara.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Fassett. You've seen me on a couple of other Gehenna Gaming one-shots and on the former cult Divinity Lost. It was Good Intentions, right, Mark?
It was Good Intentions.
Yes.
All roads are paved.
So you've seen me on a couple of the streams, and I am playing Kara. I am the Valkyrie, the Malkavian Valkyrie.
I miss Good Intentions.
Me too.
Me too.
And A4?
Hi, I am Rick Wheeler, aka usually Death Malkavian. I'm now Oops All Setite. I've changed it on Twitter. I am the VP of Content Creation at Gehenna Gaming, one of the co-founders. I'll be playing A4 tonight, and I am as meets.
And finally, Bjarni.
I will be reprising the role of Bjarni, my favorite gangrel berserker turned Jarl, leading this band of wonderful Viking god. Plus one.
Thank you.
Plus one.
And I am your Yarskona for the evening, Ellie Collins. Tonight is going to be very fun and very intense. So first, thank you, Gehenna Gaming, for letting me do this game. I love you guys. And thank you, Erica and Cynthia, for being a part of it. I am very amped for this. So without further ado, let's be a little bad and let's tell a vampire story. So the story tonight begins in the mid-9th century in a prosperous but hidden village of Foskeld. The town rests among lush green trees with a few small shops, a couple houses, but no longhouse to be seen, at least not by the outsiders. The centerpiece of this beautiful community is a large waterfall that descends into a small lake. To the trained eye, just below the surface of the water, stepping stones that lead you beneath the waterfall and into a cave of sorts. Through the small chambers decorated in furs and banners, you reach the heart of the cave and to a large grand hall, the likes of which you'd see in the greatest of longhouses. Banquet tables, fire pits, banners, and plenty of food and weapons to go around. There's a legend, though, about this cave-dwelling society. Some say the Vikinger of the village are cursed. Some say they're blessed. But what is known is that Jarl Bjarni Odinssun rises in the evening with his party of raiders, and in the day, the village reaps the benefits of their evening. A raiding party that could strike in the wee hours of the night always had an advantage on their side, and the quiet, hidden nature of the village guaranteed no town was able to prepare for them. But tonight, as our raiders have risen, there is word for you that a scout is coming in from out across the way. And they have news that they think that the entire group will want to hear. As the raiding party wakes, everyone please give me a rouse check to start.
Quick question.
Mhm.
How do we roll for rouse?
That'll be one hunger die.
All right.
Success.
Success.
Success. Oh. Oh, and that's a bestial failure.
Oh no. The hunger grows.
So Yaima starts at 2. Norfi, what about you?
Success.
Success. Bjarni?
Yes.
Success. So Yaima wakes up a little more cranky than usual.
Hmm.
And so Bjarni, as you enter your hall and everyone enters behind, if you could each please describe yourselves as you come in.
Bjarni is a incredibly tall, about 6'7", blonde, light blue eyes, almost kind of like a colored. He's starting to get older. Has some touches of silver in his hair, but he is built like his namesake. Looks like a bear of a man, wearing a large fur pelt, leather bracers, and a simple tunic. Does not have any of his weaponry, the rest of his armor on at this time. He will just kind of sniff the air around and walk over to a perch. There's a raven sitting, and kind of just quietly whisper to it, get a directive. Fly out of the cavern that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a quick lay of the surrounding land. Back and report.
Okay. So you get a smell the from the bird and it takes off. So who comes in next? Yaima? So if you want to describe yourself.
Yeah, so Yaima looks very different from what you would see in the Scandinavian area. She is actually Borinquen, or Arawak Indian is what people would probably know. So a Caribbean type Indian or native. She is a shorter stature. She's about 5'5". She has a regal sense about herself. She has long dark hair with bangs, basically what you're seeing here. Tribal makeup to suggest what she is, her culture is, and feathers. She is just dressed a little bit more scantily clad than most people would in Scandinavian. So she bears a little bit more pelt-like stuff. So she wears a lot of white and kind of more scraps of pieces of clothing put together. She is very ravenous at this point. So she's going to go over to Bjarni. I don't know what happened last night, but I am very, very hungry.
Look around for a brief second. See if it's mostly just.
It is just the coterie at this late hour. Most of your townspeople have either gone to sleep in their homes outside of the cavern, or the housecarls that work in your longhouse have gone to sleep.
He will quickly undo.
And so, Yaima, will you drink?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yaima, you will go down 1 hunger, and Bjarni, you will go up 1. So, Bjarni, you are now at the 2. Yes.
Bjarni would regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I have started this evening.
Oh, good. You would have started at 0, so you will be now at 1. All right, and so who is entering next?
Norfi
Oh,
pushes.
Norfi and A4 walk in at the same time.
Norfi pushes I4.
Hey,
It's easy. All you have to do is just drink. It's not hard. And he puts a horn of mead and pushes it against your chest.
I never said it was hard, but it is the very good flavor. Much better than the wine we've had in Byzantium.
Yes, that wine is okay, but something about mead from home to warm the stomach and get ready for battle. Norfi is he has stains all over the pelt that he's wearing on his shoulders. from so much sticky mead that he's been plentifully drinking. He's a tall and lean man with a long beard and cropped short hair. He's completely covered in scars, intricate scars all over his arms and his neck and his face. They could almost resemble runes if you look closely. He's holding in his other hand his axe and his shield slung on his back.
Wonderful. And A4, what do you look like?
A4 walks and carries himself like a soldier. The pants that he's wearing are that of an army that is south of here by many miles. Once a soldier in the Byzantine Empire, went back to his heritage up here. His shirt, once that of a sergeant in that army, very torn up. Still kind of keeps it as a keepsake. Otherwise, some faint scarring. Has a bit of a mixed look to him, like as if he's part of two worlds. And with the lute that he carries around and plays often in the camp for his friends in his coterie, you can tell he's had some substantial music training.
Wonderful. And rounding us out, Kara, you enter.
Kara takes a bit of a meandering exit, just kind of following flows and eddies that she perceives in the air, and comes up to Bjarni and says, "It is a good night. I feel good things are happening tonight." Kara's appearance is she is wearing a very simple linen apron dress of black and gray, and she has blonde hair and stands a little bit taller than Yaima, and she's kind of slender, willowy, someone who's eats enough or ate enough in life but can still hold their own if need be.
Wonderful. And so you all come together in the center with Jarl Odinssun on his throne. And Jarl, you have been informed when you first woke up that the scout is coming in. And your raven is now out and looking for said scout.
I have been told there's news. Waiting. Would do to be ready. Whatever they have to say. I heard there may be movement in the area. Could be local or it could be a ship. I'm not sure yet. So.
Another clan or an
I don't
outsider?
I don't know yet. We'll find out.
We will.
No, there's an easy way to find out. We could just go and find out. I don't know how you can rely on your scout to come back safely.
And as you say that, the raven does come flying back through with a
Hold up my arm.
and lands on Bjarni's arm. Says, "Scout is approaching."
This is how sticky fingers.
That's what I get for not trusting a raven.
And you see the raven cut its eyes at you real quick and just nuzzles down against Bjarni's hand and flies off. And so the clinking of the bones that are tied to string echo through the hall, signaling that someone is coming in and approaching. And in comes the scout in a soft green tunic and pants, matted brown fur cape. Anyone not knowing better could easily mistake him for foliage if he was hidden beneath it. It was clever and why he was known as the best. And he comes up and gives a deep bow to the Jarl. "Thank you, my Jarl. Jarl Odinssun, there is a monastery. It's up the river a ways in Norford. I've been watching them for a week, day and night. They have large chests and crates that are being delivered from ships. But I assure you, my Jarl, it is more chests and crates that could fit inside that church. They're going into the church, and they're not coming out. There's more than enough can fit in there.
Huh.
I think there is a horde that could change our lives. And the monastery is rich, sir. When I go into the monastery, though, it is empty. Just monks and priests. So if they're hiding their riches, they're more rich than even I can see.
You've done well. Thank you.
Thank you. I have sketched these for you. And he gives you a tattered parchment with a crudely drawn map of the village that you will all find in the Discord message that I have sent you. And he says, I don't know how many guards there are, sir. They all dress the same and they look the same. So there's no telling how many. There is a monk that I encountered at night, though. His name is Father Sebastian. I would stay away from him. He does not make me feel at ease.
This is
Why?
a very good report.
Thank you.
I'm interested to know why he doesn't put you at ease.
Something about him is not right. I don't know what it is. It's a look in his eyes. His eyes are maybe too large or too small. His mouth is a little too wide. It's nothing about him is right. But he is kind to the village, but I do not think he is someone to be messed with.
Interesting.
I appreciate your candor.
Is there anything else, my Jarl?
No. We will take it from here.
I will scout for the next score then.
As I said, I expected this. I say this to them as he's leaving.
Yeah.
I will be ready to leave in a few minutes. I hope you will all not keep me waiting.
Yes, Jarl.
And I will get up and I will walk into the other room and I will start putting on armor.
Okay. How will the rest of you prepare for this?
Kara reaches into her bag of runes.
Mm-hmm.
She just picks one out, and she is quite pleased with herself. Yes, it is a good omen indeed. Perdo will guide us.
Wonderful.
Norfi is going to go look for Ofnir.
Okay. And so you do find her.
Ofnir, I hope you're not too drunk.
Very little. What do you need?
Ofnir, I need you as always. We have raiding and drinking to do.
Oh, that's my favorite kind of day.
Norfi will put the horn of mead and shove it into her chest the same way that he shoved it into Ifor's.
Yeah, and she'll down it pretty quickly.
Ofnir, you're the only one who could outdrink any man, woman, or shield maiden in this town.
That's why you keep me.
Yes, but I can outdrink you.
Always, always.
Give it time. Give it time. With my help, one day you will see me passed out using a rock for a pillow like that one time you gave yourself a nasty bruise on the back of your head.
I think I still have a nod from it.
And perhaps maybe one day you won't have to sleep in the nighttime, Ofnir.
Maybe that would be a generous gift, sir.
I look forward to you earning it.
I look forward to earning it.
Come on.
All
And
right.
Norfi walks back inside.
Okay.
Yahima, with your wisdom and perspective, what do you think we will encounter tonight?
That we will be encountering a lot of bloodshed, so I would prepare heavily.
Good to
No?
know. I appreciate your wisdom as always.
Thank you. I believe that you will have to protect me at some point because I feel as though I might be weaker than most.
You can count on it then.
Thank you.
You provide your own gift to this tribe. We would be foolish to lose it.
I appreciate as this is not my normal place to exist. It has been very different time for me to be here.
Well, after tonight, we will see if we can make you feel more at home.
I'm sure you will. I need to find my bow and arrow, and I need to prepare some magic, as you say. So I will depart on my own for a moment, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
And with that, she goes and gets prepared.
All right.
I typically have my loot with me. I have a sword as well at my hip, but that's pretty much all I'll need.
All right. Kara, how are you preparing for this?
Oh, I have my belt with my dagger, my short sword. Good
Yeah.
enough.
Fantastic. And so Bjarni, after a while, returns with his armor. And I imagine you all reconvene in the main hall.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I would request one thing. Perhaps we make an offering to ensure that the gods bless us in this adventure, that my father Loki stays away for at least one night. A mischief is fun, but I feel that we may not need it. Kara,
Yes.
perhaps maybe some bloodshed. Perhaps maybe a sacrifice.
Yes. Yes. It will appease the gods and they will give us their blessing in this endeavor.
Yes.
We must find a
Yaima.
good.
The two of you, Kara, Yaima. I give you this. And he pulls out a leather bag. And inside the leather bag, you can see moving. There's things inside of it. And he undoes the strap and spills out a rather large rabbit. For both of you, daughters of Freya, you bless us by coming. You bless us with your power. And you take this, and I want both of you to make this offering.
I grab the rabbit right away and pull it up by the ears, and I just dig in my fangs real quick and pull out basically the trachea of the rabbit to spill the blood everywhere.
Perfect.
And I don't know who Freya is, but this is from Mombayas, the god of death from my kocha.
Mambias it is.
Kara's gonna dip her hand in the bloody fur and just kind of wipe it on her face. Freya will bless us in this endeavor as well.
Before we leave, I'm going to pull the bearded axe off my belt, and I'm just going to gash my hand open and drip the blood onto the corpse.
Okay.
Leave the blood on the axe, slide it back into my belt. Yell loudly, "Hail Odin," and then, "Excellent."
And so, as you all have made offerings to the gods, why don't we reward such from the gods? Each of you will be able to add an extra dice to any roll for the rest of this game that you wish. You will get one extra die each, and at any point you may add it during this game.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Hail Freya.
Hey, Loki.
I thought we wanted Loki to stay away, Norfie.
Oh, Loki's
sees
always
me.
Loki's always at least one corner away, underneath the table, playing his tricks.
And so, will you all head out now?
I will start walking up the stone steps and through the waterfall.
All right.
And I will follow the Jarl.
I follow closely behind I4.
Okay.
And
I guess I take up the rear.
my raven will fly out after us and land on my shoulder.
Yes. And so the raven's on your shoulder, just and keeping an eye out. And so you head out to your longship, the Naglfar. Shields readied on the sides of the ship, sails unfurled, and you get on. Who will be navigating the ship?
I can help navigate.
Okay.
I'm quite good at that.
Okay.
All right. And so you set sail down the river. The night is cold and quiet, only a few animal sounds coming through the dead of night. Beautiful waxing crescent moon above head. And the stars are as bright as ever. A beautiful night for a raid.
While the night is well lit for us, I am still going to activate Eyes of the Beast as
Okay.
we leave the torchlight of our village
Okay.
and just leave it on.
I will do the same.
Okay. Kara?
Heightened senses for me.
Heightened senses. Okay. And so through heightened senses, you can hear you're passing a couple villages through town. You can mainly hear a lot of the wildlife and animals. Just a lovely, peaceful evening. And so after a while, maybe an hour or so of traveling gently up the river so as not to draw attention to yourselves, you see a bridge over the river into the open town like what was described to you. There seem to be a few people milling about at the late hour, mainly craftsmen, some farmers, and matching pairs of guards going through the streets that you can see from out here. How would you choose to approach?
Jarl.
We have the night on our side. The gods have blessed us. Let us be quiet this evening. I gesture towards a spot that's perhaps more wooded, further downstream, and just say, let's make land there. Approach on foot.
Perhaps, maybe, at least one of us should drop ourselves midway, just in case. And with that, Norfie jumps off the side of the ship with his axe in hand.
And he volunteers himself.
Of course he does.
And is your ghoul coming with you?
Of course, I would love her to come.
Okay. And so she does follow you, jumping into the water, shield and axe in hand, following you.
I'd like to do you sense the unseen?
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure that I'm prepared as I'm kind of swimming along with the ship right next to the Naglfar.
So there is nothing that is hidden from eyes along the ship or along the river. And the town is seemingly pretty standard normal.
Hmm.
Those of you on the ship, how are you faring?
Yaima pops a couple of herbs into her mouth for a little bit to kind of feel a little bit better about being here.
Okay.
But you kind of see her eyes like roll to the back of her head and kind of like concentrate on what's going on. And she's only going to take direction if everybody gets off the ship.
Okay.
You're not going to follow Norfie?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Good idea.
So
Kara and A4?
I wait for the boat to pull closer to the embankment and jump out, keeping an eye on the tree line for anyone who may have seen us, while my compatriots also disembark.
And so, Kara, you disembark?
I follow up to I4.
Okay. Bjarni.
before we hit land and I disembark, I whisper a short command to my raven. Just tell it to fly overhead, circle the town once, come back to me, report any locations of scouts or lookouts who might be above, and give me a sense of how many and
Okay.
locations.
Okay. So the raven goes up, and you can kind of see it in the sky come through. It does a couple laps, and it comes back and lands. It says, 12 guards, few people, big church.
Do your eyes in the sky tell you, Jarl?
About a dozen gods.
Church has walls.
Walled church. Nothing we can't handle. I still believe that we should go in quietly. Make our way in. Try to breach the church before we are seen. What do you think?
What is it that we are trying to get from these people?
They've been moving a significant amount of supplies in, and apparently hiding them somewhere within the walls of the church. I would like to breach it, find what they are hiding, and if it is of value to us, and take it, and then burn the church to the ground as we leave.
And you want to make this a more hidden thing, or do you want to call attention so that they know to not mess with you?
I want to enter hidden and then draw attention on our way out.
Then I
Leave.
suggest that we go around the perimeter, no?
Yes.
Agreed.
And where are you and your ghoul?
We're swimming up to kind of the beachy area? Is there? It's like a. Is it more of a beach or is it more of like kind of a rocky? Kind
It's
of
like a
situation?
soft soil embankment, lots of water grass and everything around it.
Yeah. So we're kind of coming up onto the shore, and just it's a big boat, but making sure that it's coming up pretty nicely. If there's any ropes that need to get thrown down or tied down, they would surely help with that.
With the soft soil at this point, you could probably just push the ship a little further to get it to really lodge into the ground.
Yeah, that's what we would do. The two of us would push from the rear and get this boat up.
Wonderful.
Is everybody leaving the ship?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be the last one off the ship, and I'm gonna just look around to make sure that there's nothing in vicinity that's watching us do this.
Not that you can see, it seems that this town is pretty quiet. There are a couple ships further down on the town side that have docked, but they have no activity going on them. It does appear that at this hour, everyone is quite asleep.
What kind of ships are they? Are they smaller ships? Do they seem more of a cargo ship type thing?
There is one that is more of a large cargo ship, not grandiose in size, but clearly a merchant vessel. And then there is a smaller tradesman ship that just seems to contain a few barrels and boxes.
Noted. Are they far away from us?
Yeah, they're pretty far.
Okay. I had an idea, but never mind.
I was thinking, should we sabotage those ships in case they pursue?
That's actually what I was thinking of doing, actually. We could go do that side for, and we can meet up with everybody after.
If the Jarl gives his blessing.
Excellent idea, as always, both of you.
I am not the best sneaking. So that is something we can do without going into the city and drawing more attention than you want before the time is right.
Now we do want to make a statement on our way out. Perhaps maybe an elaborate statement while sabotaging.
Like
Fire.
burning the church to the ground?
Yes. Kara. Bjarni. Fire.
Agreed.
But what of the boats? Do we want to set those aflame as well? Yaima and Ifor.
Burn them.
I have a better idea for these ships.
What is your idea?
I have an ability to destroy things with my vitae. So we could put a hole inside the boats so that they can no longer.
I was thinking, though, if we completely destroy the cargo ship, there will no longer be any more treasure coming to and fro. Although not after this raid that there would be any anyway, but it's up to you. I don't feel we really need them so close to our city. I think they've crossed a line.
Agreed. Settled.
Indeed.
I will leave that to you. In the meantime, Kara,
Yes, my Jarl.
Norfi, can you sneak quietly to the church and make your way inside?
Of course.
I will
course.
meet you there.
Ofnir will join you.
No. I don't believe she will be able to. And I am going to make a rouse check and activate Metamorphosis.
Oh,
Yes.
And I'm going to change into a raven myself.
okay. A slightly larger than average raven, but
And
a raven.
I pass my rouse check.
Good. Good.
So, but Bjarni kind of shifts, rolls his shoulders, and starts to shrink, morphs down into the shape of a very large raven, about double the size of his own, and they both take off, flapping their wings. And I'm going to fly through the town and land on the roof of the church and take in my own observations from there.
Okay. And so you do see similar to the map that you were all sent, you do confirm everything on this map. And you see the same 12 guards wandering around. They're in pairs of 2. So there are 6 sets of them. And then the people that are up now are pretty much like some of the leather workers are up just burning the midnight oil. There's a couple farmers that are preparing for the next day, baling the hay that they need to take out. Just a few small things here and there.
Okay. I will stay in this form for now, and
Okay.
I will wait till I see them making their way up to the church, and I will just sit back and observe. And if I see them get caught or anything like that, that way I can just go assist from either group.
Okay.
Before I head to the ships with Yahima, I would like to roll my flesh crafting
Okay.
and change my loot, which is made of bone, into a very large axe.
All right. Please make me the appropriate rolls.
I've passed my rouse check,
Fantastic.
and I can make the roll to do resolve and protean
Yes.
to make sure that it is correct
Yes.
and not some abomination.
It is already an abomination.
It's a bone thing.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. This is disgusting. Spend a point of willpower.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 successes.
That's enough. So you do craft your loot into a horrific axe with nice sharp edges and even a few points on it to really drive the point home. And so you two head to the ships. Are you swimming beneath the water to get there, or are you walking, just wading through the water, or are you going under?
I think I'm gonna wade through the water until we get close enough.
Okay.
Then
The size of the ships, you are able to stay decently hidden. You reach the edge of the docks and you can use the docks as cover to get closer to the ships. And you are now able to see beneath the hull of the ship.
can you sink it from here?
No, I need to be closer.
Okay. We press on.
Okay. And so you continue through underneath the docks and you reach the dock that is directly beside the large merchant vessel. And you can reach out and touch the hull.
Excellent. Just before I reach out to touch the hole, I'm gonna actually cut into my own flesh. I'm gonna release corrosive vitae, and I'm gonna just smear all my blood across it.
Okay. And so as you smear your blood across the ship, you begin to see the wood just decaying and falling apart and melting beneath the blood. And did you do this below the surface of the water or above the surface of the water?
Yes, just a little bit above. So, like, if anyone was actually looking for it, you could see it, but like not enough to disrupt the blood from doing what it needed to do.
Okay. So yeah, so it does, and you can see now the way that it has decayed down. There, as the boat does bob a little bit with the natural motion of the water, a little bit of water splashes in each time. And so now you have a hole approximately a good 2 feet wide and probably about 6 inches tall.
Excellent.
Even if they pursue, this is good.
I believe they will have a very difficult time trying to follow us.
I suppose we rejoin the others.
Yes, I agree. We should follow the others. So I get out and like wring my hair out, make sure like it's still like pristine. And
Okay,
keep
so
walking.
you get back to the shore
Mhm.
with the others. Bjarni, you're still perched. Okay, and you're perched with your raven. Norfi, you, your ghoul, and Kara, you are all on the embankment, and you see Yaima and the A4 return.
That was fast.
She does good work.
I guess so.
The boat has a significant hole in the side.
Wondrous.
Your
Shall
room.
we continue on? How far do we want to go to the church, or do we? What would you like to do?
Oh, we need to go directly inside, unseen.
And from the looks of the townspeople, you all would quite stand out. A bunch of kindred Danes and a wonderful foreign beauty.
If only there was some kind of unseen passage that Norfi could use. Perhaps it would be appropriate. Yaskona.
Perhaps.
I'm going to do a rouse check.
Go ahead.
And he is very hungry now. And very ready for battle. Ooh,
So you're up to 2 hunger now.
exactly.
Wonderful. So as that hunger kicks in, you feel bit of a clenching in your stomach, but nothing you're unfamiliar with at the beginning of a battle.
And Norfi is going to just walk straight towards the church with fire in his eyes, and
Okay.
a stirring in his stomach.
Okay, and so your ghoul is taking the roundabout approach. She has taken off to the sides through the fields and tall grass, crouched low, and is coming around towards the walls of the church as her direction.
Good girl.
Oh, go ahead, Car.
Yes, Kata.
Can I do a stealth check?
Yes,
Make my
absolutely.
way to the church. Okay, so
Absolutely. So make that dex and stealth. And don't forget to sub out 1 dice for your 1 hunger.
okay. Oh dear. Ooh. I'm not hungry, but I got 2 successes.
Wonderful. So that's decent stealthy. There is a good kind of cluster of buildings in here, so you will be able to sneak through effectively and hide behind a few trees, a few shops, and things. Thankfully, there's not enough people up at this hour.
And I do have silence of death, so I'm just kind of even more quietly.
Wonderful. Yes, Yaima.
So, if possible, once we get close, I'd like to start climbing up a tree using my cat's grace.
Okay.
And once I get to a higher level, there's probably something my group probably hasn't seen me do, but I'm going to enact one of my rituals. If it's okay, I'd like to use Eyes of the Nighthawk.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I have a white bird that I would like to enact, and basically I'm going to send the bird down, and I'm going to be able to look through the eyes of the bird as well.
Okay. And so you climb up the tree and you find yourself a soft perch, and your eyes go white as the white bird begins to float through. And you see the town more clearly as you saw the map. And you can see the guards wandering, and oh, there's Bjarni perched on a building. And you do see the tall walls surrounding the church, stacked stone, and the church inside only has maybe some lamplight closer to the area that would be considered the pulpit, but no other light.
Is there any sort of window that my bird can perch into?
Your bird can perch on the so the windows are stained glass, but they do have wrought iron on top of the stained glass. So your bird could perch on the wrought iron, and if you so choose, could also try and cut out some of the glass.
Yeah, let's try doing that.
And so your bird pecks away at a smaller section of this segmented stained glass and is able to draw a small hole through, and through which you can see a second story of the church that appears to be more of a study area, probably a more of a seminary area. Desks with books, but cleared out for the evening.
Great. I'm just gonna stay there for a minute.
All right. And so, Norfi, you are heading straight for the monastery unseen.
Yes, and I'd like to use Silence of Death to keep as quiet as possible,
Yes.
while keeping an eye out for particular interesting parties whom I might want to meet tonight.
As far as you can see, no one quite of interest. Some guards do narrowly miss you a little bit, but they're walking and just kind of talking and hem-hawing about, and just you can tell that they've probably done this beat 1,000 times and they are not really fond of being here, but it's their assignment, and so they're here.
Norfi will pick up a rock
Mm-hmm.
and he will throw it over the two guards to see what they're going to do, see if they investigate perhaps.
And how big is this rock you're throwing?
Oh, it's probably about the size of, I don't know, maybe smaller than a tennis ball.
Okay. And so you throw it and it does land, and they stop for a second. They look over. And one of them is really paying attention to that spot. The other one just kind of elbows him. He's like, "Come on." It's just probably the dogs again. And they keep walking.
I'd like to follow them.
Okay. And so they're walking down that main road through the priest village out towards Dusk Ferry. And there's a neighborhood dog that comes running out. He's like, "See, I told you." And dog comes running up and he sniffs at him and then takes off. And then as the dog goes to take off past them, it stops for a second in your vicinity and just freezes. The dog begins to whimper and back up towards the bushes behind it and takes off running.
Not again. He's going to get up fairly close to the two
Mm-hmm.
and just whisper. Just soft enough for them to barely hear. And take a couple steps back to see what they do.
And so they hear you and they just... What'd you say? The other one looks at him and he says, "I didn't say anything." He goes, "All right." And they keep walking.
Storyteller, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm a cat playing with a mouse here, but I have a question on how demontation would work in V5.
Yes.
Do I need to lock eyes with them or any victim of said demontation in order to have it have its effect? It's an amalgam, so I'm not sure.
No, you would need to have a 5-minute conversation with them at minimum. But it does not require direct eye contact. It just needs to be an actual conversation.
All right. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go right towards the church because we have things to do. And
Okay.
I'm getting very distracted.
All right. And so, A4, where are you headed to?
Well, I'm still at the base of the tree that Yahima climbed up. I know that if anything were to happen, that I am in charge of making sure that she is not physically disturbed. She has gifts much like our Jarl, which need to be protected.
All right, and so you are protecting Yaima. And Kara?
I'm still making my way to the church.
Okay. And so, Kara, you arrive to the church first, as Norfi has been a tad distracted. And so as you come up to the gate of the church, there are walls, but the segment that leads to the church is open. And there's a beautiful courtyard out front. There is a small light coming from a larger window for the pulpit. And everything else around here is pretty dark for the evening.
All right. I'd like to take this quiet moment before we enter into this. I'm assuming it's going to be a Christian monastery because it's not one of ours.
As far as you can tell, it is Christian in architecture.
All right. So before I enter this temple of some impotent god, I want to use premonition.
Wonderful. So let me get those rolls for you. Or if you can make me the appropriate rolls, please.
Right. Do I need to add the hunger dice?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You will sub out your hunger dice.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, but I am hungry.
Oh, the hunger only counts if you fail.
Oh, okay, so then I got 4 successes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see here. Let's see what we can give you.
What does Freya, the goddess of magic, and so much else tell me?
So as you focus on your premonition, I am checking into something. All right. And so as you close your eyes and run your fingers along the blood on your face, you see an image of the earth, the ground around you, surrounding you, and the ground begins to melt into your skin as you begin to feel like you are a part of the earth. And then it's hot, very hot. There's fire. And there's fire coming at you from 2 directions. And there is the stench of blood. And there is a face with eyes black as night, skin white as the moon. And you see an image of Odin grab you and yank you from the earth. And as you're pulled out of the ground, you see for a moment what you think might be Valhalla. But everybody in the halls all have the same face. And then your vision comes to again.
She's just going to be a little perturbed by that and trying to mull it over in her mind. So she's going to have a little hiding nook.
Okay.
In the church,
And so
near the monastery, and wait for the others to come.
Okay. You are able to hide a bit in kind of a gazebo type structure in the courtyard.
Once I see Kara approach the church, I'm going to take to the sky again. I'm going to circle and land near her. Kind of walk, still in raven form, toward her, and then start shifting back.
Okay. And so Kara, the large raven you know to be a Jarl, begins walking towards you and then begins to grow and reform and take the shape of Bjarni.
My lord Jarl, She looks just a little bit, distracted. Yeah, Bjarni would know this is how she gets sometimes when she gets her visions.
Have you seen something that bothered you?
I've seen something, but I am not sure what it means. I have seen nothing but good omens to come of this night, but I am not sure what to make of my vision. Not yet. Maybe it will become more clear.
When you have information to impart, let me know.
Yes, Mayor.
I trust your insight.
Thank you, Mayor.
And then
And so
I'll just keep watch for the rest of my Viking at +1.
And Norfi, you do arrive to the monastery area and you see Kara and Bjarni hiding amongst a gazebo. And Yaima, from your bird, you can see that they have begun to gather at this small building.
My bird flies over to Bjarni and perches on his shoulder.
Norfi would just walk right by them and start walking into the monastery.
Into the door.
Is the door closed or open? I probably
The doors are closed, so opening the door would break your obfuscate.
It would, but is there a window?
All of the windows are stained glass with wrought iron over them.
What a shame. Looks like we'll have to open this door. But he will see his Jarl, and against his better judgment, go and check in with his Jarl just to make sure that he does the right thing.
Wonderful.
He often does not.
No,
I will. Oh, go ahead.
Do you break obfuscate?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen anything of note yet?
Yes, there is a dog. Oh, and the two guards which are walking towards the little village over there. They seem to be not very on alert and probably not very good at their job.
Inconsequential.
Yes, they're not very sensitive. Wait? What are we waiting for?
We are missing two of our friends.
I'm going to tap on the tree where Yahima had climbed up to see if she's got anything to report so we can move on.
And as the bird has landed on you, Bjarni, you know that to be Yaima with you through the bird.
The bird will kind of nuzzle up against his face real quick, just to kind of, you don't get a response from Yaima because she's in trance with the bird.
Oh, you're like a warg.
Would I be able to see that the bird has landed on Bjarni from our location?
From your location, no, as they are inside the monastery and thus inside the walls. But about this time, Norfi, you see from over the wall's edge, laying against the ground, but peeking up just over the edge, is your ghoul. And she peeks up and just kind of raises her axe a little bit.
He holds up his axe and does like a little We're all here. Make a statement, shall we?
Let's.
That door looks awfully big and loud.
I'm going to walk over to the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to see if I can open it.
It opens without difficulty.
And then I will open it just enough to look inside for a second and see what is inside.
So as you look inside, the monastery is seemingly pretty empty.
Mm-hmm.
There's rows of pews. There are stairs that lead to a second level that appears to be a study level. And if you could please make me wits and awareness.
Perhaps maybe we can take a nun or a priest and bring them home and convert them.
3. So with 3, strangely, though you're not as well versed in churches as you would imagine to be, there seems to be no Christian iconography in this building. No big crosses, no big banners. Nothing like what you've known. You've known the Christians of this area to be quite ostentatious.
I'll make a hand motion for them to come in behind me. And I will slip quietly through the door into the church and then just kind of step to the side and continue looking around.
Okay. Make me wits and investigation.
So my bird is still on his shoulder, just to give you a heads up.
Yep. And for sake of ease, I will have your bird noticing whatever he notices, as since it is beside him, it's going to be looking where he's looking.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
4 with crit.
4 with a crit. Wonderful. Yeah, there's nothing Christian about this monastery other than its general architectural theme. Pews, there's a pulpit with beautiful marble, and there's a rug behind the pulpit. And the stairs that lead up top, there is a few candles in the windows of the pulpit area. That appears to be where the light that you all saw earlier was coming from. And who was it that had on heightened senses? You can hear a few snores coming from upstairs, likely from the clergy of this monastery.
We're sleeping.
Like little babies.
Northy, what do you make of this? I gesture to the walls, the lack of iconography.
I'm gonna take a little bit of a closer look at the iconography to see if maybe I can, I don't know, find something from it. Maybe I can stare at it in such a way that reminds me of the time I was in battle, put myself in a physical kind of state of premonition.
All right. So make me the rolls for premonition.
Shit. I'm hungry.
And so as your hunger rises within you, that nice knot in your stomach that you get before battle has now begun to claw up your throat and is sitting like a burning at the back of your throat.
He's gonna take his the side of his axe and just kind of hit the side of his head, not super hard, but just enough to kind of keep his shit together as he concentrates.
And so as the premonition comes in, your premonition is you look down to your arms and your skin is melting and dripping like fresh paint. And it's continuing to drip, and then blood begins to pour, and then the bones begin to drip as well as your arm just melts off. And you look at your other arm and it begins to melt and drip as well until both of your arms are gone. And as you look down to confirm it, your hands are back. But now your hands are covered in blood. And you're not sure quite whose. And you touch your chest and it feels like metal beneath the skin. And you start to pull and claw and you start pulling chains out of your chest. And your eyes snap back too.
This is not anything that I am too familiar with, but what I can say is that our own undoing is going to be from the shackles of within. The chains will bind us from inside ourselves. We're weak here. But it's made of wood, and wood does burn.
It does.
Wood burns,
I don't like
candles
this.
melt.
Para, if you could please make me, let's call this with investigation.
All right. It's gonna be 6. Ooh.
2. Wonderful. And so the pews, as you begin looking through them, you see that if you were to take your hands and measure your hips and then measure down the pews, about every third seat appears to have clawing and scratching in the wood.
Like animal claws?
Unsure.
I call over for Bjarni. My Jarl, curious clawing on these seats over here.
I'll kneel down, run my fingers along the claw marks, and I'd like to just get a sense if they are animal or perhaps made by something similar to my own abilities.
Indiscernible.
Hmm.
They are deep, but there is nothing indicative. Your average person would just imagine that this is probably wear and tear from over the years, but being what you are, you're more familiar with actual clawing.
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. Is of no concern yet. Take a look around, see if there are any hidden ways to get underground, perhaps passages. Somewhere they could be hiding the amount of goods they've been moving into here.
Yaima, if you could please, for your bird, at hearing that directive, make me wits and awareness as well. Three. Wonderful. And so your bird flies off of Bjarni's shoulders with that and begins to try and take a better look around the room. And from this advantage, being a little bit higher, you see the rug behind the pulpit. There's a wrinkle in it. And under that wrinkle, you see wood.
My bird's gonna land here and kind of just it's gonna make a little whistle sound to indicate to come over to where the bird had landed.
Okay. And A4, as this is happening, you have known Yaima to be in her bird form for a while, but are you terribly concerned at this moment?
Rick.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Johnny. Sorry.
A4.
Perhaps a little bit, but I know that she would have snapped back by now if there was an emergency. So I'm assuming it's all recon.
Okay. And as you are looking around, you do see the guards appear to, a pair at least comes by maybe every 5 minutes.
Okay.
So should you need to move, you do know a time frame to move in.
Excellent.
And so the bird lands on the carpet and does a little to the rest of you.
I will approach.
And the bird kind of peeks its beak down and lifts the carpet a little bit. And you see wood.
I just make a like noise to call it back to me,
Okay. It jumps back up on your shoulder.
and then I just kick the rug out of the way.
All right. Kicking the rug out of the way, you see a door. And that will be where we will take our break. And so we are going to break. I believe, Mark, you had some things to say?
Before you leave, follow us. If you feel like it, subscribe to us. It'll let you know when we're going to be streaming next. We got a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming up down the pike. I want every single person that's watching right now to go to virtualhorrorcon.com. Check that out, because holy crap, there's a whole bunch of really amazing things happening in February. From February 19th to the 21st, all weekend, we're having Virtual HorrorCon 2 Electric Boogaloo. And if you are interested in exhibiting, or if you want to be a panelist, or if you just want to be a part of it, there's a bunch of little places that you can go to subscribe. There's a whole sign up and send an email out, let us know, hey, I've got this thing. If you do want to, you could reach us on Twitter. I'm Marchosius with 5s instead of S's. It's a lot easier to get a hold of us if you follow us on twitter.com/Gehenna Gaming, on Facebook, Gehenna Games. Follow us on Instagram, listen to our podcast, watch all the cool stuff that we have going on. And if you want to be a part of it, please reach out, because we want you to be a part of it as well. Otherwise, go get a drink of water, hydrate, as Big Wet Dad would say.
And if you like the storyteller, Ellie, you can find her on Atlanta by Night. Subsequently, you can find Cynthia Marie all over the place. She's in tons of games, but primarily LA by Night. Erica Fassett, our other guest tonight, fantastic writer. You can find her, hire her. You can find her at Rosie Rexit. We'll be back shortly.
Ice cubes getting caught on my nose ring.
We're live. On that note, every time, Mark. Every time.
When Mark embarrasses himself.
Every
we're
stream, I
alive
think.
again.
Every stream.
Thank you, everyone who stuck around through our break. We're about to get started again, so I hope you all stretch your legs, got a beverage, and are ready for the continuation of our Viking vampire story.
Thank you.
Take it away.
And so at seeing the door, Yaima, you have snapped out of your bird, and you and A4 have quickly joined the group. And so all 5 of you are standing around this trap door.
Before we go in, I have an idea. If you don't mind, I would like to use one of my abilities to ensure that it is safe to go down there.
This is a great idea.
By all means.
Storyteller.
Yes.
Where did it go? Not essence of air. So I'm trying to find the ritual now of, there's one where they can go through the wall.
The one where you
Corporeal
become...
passage?
Mhm.
Yeah, corporeal passage.
Yeah, that one. Is it possible to use that?
Yes, you can if you want to descend through that, but you will need to make sure to get a good hold on what you're doing. As this door goes down, you want to make sure of what's below you first.
Okay.
So I just say proceed with caution, but yes, you can do it.
Yeah, I was like, I'll hold tight for a second before hopefully we can illuminate the area, and then I'll do it.
Okay.
While Yaima is doing her ritual, I'd like to just kind of look to see if there's any books anywhere or any kind of, I don't know. I'm looking for Bibles, basically.
So you do find a bookcase that contains some biblical text. There is also some historical text. It appears that a lot of the religious texts that are over here are from varying cultures and appear to be more research in nature rather than praise in nature.
Excellent. Are there any torches or candles on the wall?
Yes, there are candles in the windows that are lit in the pulpit area, and then there are torches along the walls that have been snuffed for the evening.
My Jarl. He's going to point at the bookcase, and he's going to kind of thumb over to the torch. Fire?
Use caution for now.
Not
But
yet.
we don't want to burn the building down around us.
I'll be at the ready.
I would also like to quickly look around. Is there anything of value in this room? Any metals, any gold, silver, any jewels of any kind?
So there are a few small things, goblets that appear to be for, something like communion, a couple offering plates of silver. The goblet does have a few gems on it. It appears to be that the things of value are ritualistic in nature, more common, but the general fare of the room is not very rich.
Jarl Skoma,
Yes.
having come from the Byzantine Empire and more of an Orthodox background, I imagine this place would be almost unsettling with its lack of religious iconography.
Yes, for the theming of the area and given the Christian architecture, the lack of Christian iconography, the almost secular nature of this building is quite strange and quite unsettling.
Bjarni, you've noticed this, yes? This place is hollow. An empty carcass of what it's supposed to be.
It does strike me as particularly unusual. What do you make of it?
I don't think they worship here. There's nothing to worship. It's a show of why. Do they take it over, perhaps?
Perhaps they use it as a cover of sorts.
Hmm.
We shall see.
We will.
There's a smell here that's all too familiar, but yet completely alien.
How so?
I can feel it in my bones, in my very hands and my skin. It feels like my flesh is going to fall off its bones at any moment.
Calm yourself, Northie. And then
They're sleeping.
All right, and so Yaima, you passed your rouse check, and you got 4 successes to cast this ritual. And so you all see Yaima suddenly become more focused. And if you would like to describe how you are doing this ritual.
Sure. So one of the ritual components is a mirror, but Yaima is not necessarily around mirrors. So she actually has a very polished shell that is very similar to a mirror. So you can see reflection and everything. It's just not an actual mirror. So she is basically spilling her blood onto the shell, and she's chanting in her own language that most people probably wouldn't understand, so I won't go into it. But she's just gonna be sitting there like circling it and like kind of singing her stuff for about 15-20 minutes ish.
Okay.
Bjarni will actually watch her, very interested in what she is doing.
Yes, Norfie will as well. This is a beautiful ritual.
Kara? Oh, we can't hear you, Kara. But yes, you are watching as well. And A4?
I turn my attention to the strangeness of this place and focus on the otherworldly happenings that Yahima is performing.
All right. And so about 20 minutes focusing on her, staying fairly quiet in this building as you hear the slight snoring from upstairs, Kara. They're still pretty heavily asleep. And Yaima, you approach about the 20th minute and it feels like it's time.
Were we able to illuminate down below, or is it still
Yes.
great?
So you can see that there is a ladder that leads down underneath this into a dark room with a dirt floor.
And it's just the room. There's no doors or anything around.
As far as you're able to see, it's just straight down to, it's a kind of a shaft down to the ground.
Okay.
earth
Yeah,
floor.
so I'm gonna use my incorporeal passage and I'm gonna just.
All right. And so you drop through the floor and you drop down into a room. As you descend into this darkness past the ladder, you see a small entryway, almost like a foyer, with walls made of stacked stone, a couple wooden chairs, the ground is dirt, and then there is a hallway with a door and doors on either side of it.
This is gonna be kind of weird. I'm gonna like have a cast for a moment here. Can I go to like the doors and actually like kind of like peek in to like see what's going on?
Absolutely. So you peek into the first door and you see what looks to be an office. A desk with lots of papers, a chair, books. You peek into the second on the other side of the hallway and you see a library with a large table in the middle. The table is covered in blood. And then would you like to go down the hallway?
Yes.
And so as you go down the hallway, you peek your head through that door and it's pitch black, but it reeks of all manner of bodily smells.
So can I? Oh wait, I do. Okay, that's blood magic. I want to see if I can investigate the darkness. If it is a magical sort of darkness that.
It doesn't feel as so. It's not oppressive in nature. It just feels like this is a room, due to it being underground and the stacked stone, and you imagine that the ground has probably sloped a little bit. So it's just kind of like when you get to a more interior section of a cave where light can't get in, it just appears that no light can enter this room, and that's why it's dark.
Got it. Cool. So, yeah, then my form is going to come back unless there's any other details that my form would kind of take in.
Not at this moment from the quick look through that you're doing.
Okay. So I kind of return back to my body. Yes.
Okay. And so,
And
yeah,
relay
returns.
all the details. There's a room with a lots of the things that you put ink on to make a picture. Those are on tablet. And
Okay.
there was a room that smelled and very dark. And then there was another one that had the what do you call them? The
Books.
yes, they were all over the walls, and there was a sanguine all over the table.
Blood.
The smell, you said. It smelled?
Yes, of some was your death. Rotting flesh, I think, maybe.
It seems that this is worth investigating. I think it best that we take a look around before we take any action. I want to see what I can see in this dark room of death.
Same.
Kara, you said that there are people sleeping, the babies.
There are people sleeping, but she melted into the floor.
Yes,
She melted into the floor.
she melted into the floor.
And there was the smell of blood.
She's back now.
But no, she melted into the floor. I had a vision, a premonition of melting into the earth.
Kara, who melted into the floor? She.
Yahima did. Well, Yahima did just now. But I melted into the floor. I think it was me. But it was melting into the floor. And
What?
there was that smell of blood that she said. Oh.
Yes.
We
The
shall...
babies I'm concerned about now. I don't think they're
Good.
so innocent anymore, huh?
Should you check on them?
There'll be fire.
Yes.
The fire comes next.
The fire does come next.
Let's use caution.
Fire comes on our way out.
Yes.
Restraint. You're right. I for. I'm gonna go check on the babies, Bjarni.
Okay. And so you are going to head upstairs.
I will go and help. We can make sure they stay asleep a long time.
Yes.
I
Team Malkery.
will head down the ladder with my eyes of the beast active to see in the dark.
Okay. So first we will go with Norfi and Kara. You go up the stairs and you see an open entryway that leads into almost like a dormitory type setup for the clergy. There is one doorway that leads to the monks. Just 4 beds with men in brown robes in 3 of them. And then you look in the women's, and there are 3 beds with 3 women in black dresses and black headscarves in them. And they're all sleeping very soundly.
I'm gonna tap on Kara's shoulder.
Yes.
We shouldn't be seen,
Yes, we should not be seen.
but we have boys and babies. Perhaps we should lock them in.
Is there like any sort of door that separates them? Are they in different like sorts of cells
Yes.
or chambers?
The rooms, the men's dormitory and the women's dormitory, are two side-by-side rooms, and there are two doors, but they are currently open.
Then you'll just need to quietly close the doors and bar them.
Norfie is going to use unseen passage.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, not hungry. Well, hungry, but not more hungry than he was before. And he's going to go to the males' dormitory where the priests are or the monks, and grab the big door and slowly pull it closed, inch by inch, and making sure that with every movement he stops and kind of looks at any stirring of the
Just
monks.
general, kind of snoring.
And he's going to close it. And I don't know if there's anything to maybe a torch with a long handle or something that he can put into the door handle, or something he could wedge into the door to keep it shut.
There are torches along the wall that you could wedge into there.
Yes, he will take one of those torches and he'll kind of shove it into the handle against the wall to try to stop it from opening if he can.
Okay.
Over near the women's dormitory, Kara's gonna stealth over since she doesn't have unseen passage. So that is 2 successes at stealthing.
Wonderful. Effective.
And I'm going to do similar to what Norfie did, is I'm going to very slowly and meticulously close the door and
Okay.
keep an eye on the sleepers.
Mm-hmm.
Just very quietly closing the door, not making a sound.
Night,
You
little
are
babies.
able to shut it.
All right. Also grab torch, shove it in there to keep them in.
Okay. And so, A4, you have gone downstairs. Yaima and Bjarni, have you joined him?
Yes.
I will toss off the bearskin I'm wearing, just to it doesn't catch me up, and I will descend last, just keeping an eye, making sure no one comes in while we're going down there.
Okay. And Kara and Norfie, are you heading down with the rest of the group?
Are those the only 2 rooms that are upstairs, or are there other rooms?
That's it for the rooms upstairs. Upstairs look to be a seminary study area with the 2 dormitories.
Yes, he's on his way down. He's going to grab a torch and hand it over to Kara, and then take another torch for himself.
Okay.
Fire.
So everyone finds themselves downstairs together. You are all in this stone-walled, dirt floor foyer room with a long hallway in the middle leading to a door at the end and 2 doors on either side. What would you like to do?
Which was the darker room?
Points to the one, I think it was to the left, right? Or to the right?
It was all the way down the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah, so she points down the hallway.
And where were the books?
Yeah, she
Those would
points
be to the left.
Yeah, the opposite.
I will gesture towards the books and just gesture toward Kara and Northy. And then beckon the other 2 to follow me down the hallway.
Okay.
And I do. Got my axe ready just in case.
All right. And Kara and Norfi, you enter the room with the books. And inside that room, you see a long table covered in blood, and you see bookcases with journals along it.
Norfy is going to wipe his hand on the blood and stick it in his mouth.
It's old. It's not very tasty.
God, this place does deserve to burn, I think.
I want to do Sense the Unseen.
Okay.
This place is just giving me a little bit too much of discomfort. Maybe there are other forces at work here.
Okay.
Oh, that's a double crit.
Ooh.
Wonderful.
Yes. So
How
You
many
said
total
dou-
successes?
what's the double crit again?
Double crit,
Four.
double itself. So 2 becomes
Okay.
4.
Okay. So 5.
5. Wonderful. And so with Sense the Unseen, as you're looking around, you notice an almost shimmer along the bookcases. They appear to be warded.
Uh-oh.
Against what, you don't know,
Mm.
but you can see that they are indeed warded.
Norfi. We
As-
might need Yahima.
As he's holding a torch, like almost about to light them aflame, he stops. Kata, for what? They're books. They burn quickly.
No. There's something different about these. There's like you can see it as I can see it, but there's something either special or different about these books. They are not to be trifled with. But I think Yahima might know. She is better with magics than I am.
Kata, as you know, I always trust you. Let's go get Yahima.
Thank you.
And so you guys exit the room and you see the group going down the hallway, approaching the door. And Bjarni and Efor, as you're approaching that door, the stench does hit you. And it is a stench of all manner of bodily fluids, blood, urine, defecation, flesh, rotting.
Disgusting.
Delicious.
The closest that you have smelled of this is coming upon a town already raided before.
I will approach the door and slowly open it, looking inside using my eyes of the beast.
Okay. And so remind me real quick what Eyes of the Beast is supposed to show you.
I can see in pitch black, but my eyes glow faintly red.
Same.
Okay. Eyes of the Beast for both of you. Yahima, what are you doing?
I think I'm just kind of in the center, just kind of making sure that everybody's kind of okay. So I'm kind
Okay.
of just being there for a moment.
And so before we see what the gentlemen have seen, Kara and Norfi, you do approach Yaima.
Yahima,
Yes.
there's something. These little spikes and little
Sparklings.
things and itchings and crawlings like insects.
The wood sounding a very protective wall
Something
Near the
like
books.
near the books. Okay. And she'll proceed to follow them over to the room.
Okay. And so, Bjarni and Efor,
Yes.
as you look in this room, it is unseemly. It is something you've seen in lesser developed towns, but not quite in a church. Mounds and mounds of bodies, rotting and decaying, piled easily 8 feet high. Just mounds.
What do you make
Well.
of this?
I've been in many churches before I joined with my northern brothers. Never have I seen this. This is the antithesis of what they traditionally do. Something is rotten here to the core. Your messenger, who felt uncomfortable with his father Sebastian, seems to have had good reason to do so. We should find this person and get the answers to what's really happening here.
And something that you have all begun to notice, the scout had informed you that lots of crates of goods and treasures were being brought in, and there is still no sign of any gold or silver, weapons, trade goods.
Jarl, he mentioned gold
Hmm.
in crates.
Yes.
What if they were just shipping corpses for some purpose?
This is too close to our home to allow
Yes.
something that is such an affront to the gods to continue. So I think we should deal with it either way. And I'm going to walk into that room
Okay.
and see
I
if
will
there's
follow.
anything hidden underneath or behind the stacks of bodies.
So before we do that, Yaima, Norfi, and Kara, you return to the room.
Mhm.
And Yaima, you do see the bookcases that they have pointed out to you as warded.
Kara said the bugs are right here. The snitching and the spiking.
The bugs. She puts her hand like kind of over to kind of like reveal like the wards ish to her.
And they do shimmer brightly towards you. To a more trained eye, you see that these are warded against kine.
Again,
Oh.
sorry, one more time.
Kine, humans.
Ah. This protection is not against our kind, but the mortal type.
Oh,
And this close to the books, Yaima, you see they are similar to the books that were on the desk of the study room that you had first looked into.
Mm-hmm. So, just a little bit of flavoring. Yaima doesn't know how to read
Mhm.
per se. Are there any pictures that, like, on the books that maybe would suggest what the material is?
There are not. They appear to be personal journals more than proper bound books. They're just your typical flap of leather with but if you would like to take a closer look at them, please give me wits and investigation.
Sure.
Actually, let's call this, instead of that, let's call it wits and occult.
Sweet. I have even better. 1, 2, 3 successes.
That's not leather.
Yaima, what's wrong?
These are not animal flesh.
Ah,
Kind of other flesh.
We should go.
Norfi is going to grab one of the books
Okay.
and he's going to kind of open it up just to take a quick glance before putting it in his cloak.
Okay. And what is Norfi's ability to read? We'll consider that your intelligence level. And
You know, he's got he can make out A couple of things. I mean, 2 dots in intelligence is not too bad, right?
What is your academics is 0?
Uh-huh. Yes.
So
Mhm.
it is written in cursive, which you have no acumen with, and it's in a language that is unfamiliar to you, a language that you've never seen before in your travels. But there are pictures. There's some rough sketchings that you know from legend to be of a dragon.
Ah, the writing is nonsense. There's nothing here that's worth our time at all. But the pictures, yes, I do recognize the wyvern, the worm, the great worm. My father knows them very well. We should still burn them, but perhaps maybe taking 1 or 2 with us, just in case. Yaima, they seem to be probably valuable.
Possible, but I'm not sure that is a smart idea.
So when you say I don't think it's a smart idea, immediately he puts it right over the flame of the torch that he's holding, and lights it aflame and throws it against the bookcase.
Yaima backs up real fast.
Yeah, and so as the bookcase goes aflame, Norfi and Kara, as you have not backed up immediately, I need you to please make me a frenzy check.
Yep.
And what do we roll for frenzy? Let me see.
Remind me, Norfi, what your frenzy roll is.
Hold on.
I believe that is your
Resolve composure?
yes.
Yes.
All right. My days of playing Requiem help a little bit.
Yes, it's 4. Okay. Resolve composure.
2 successes.
No successes.
So, Kara, the flame lights up quick enough to just scare you enough to press you back against the wall, and you're able to begin to slide out of the room. But Norfi, you were the closest when you lit it, and that flame catches and shows directly in front of your face, and it feels like your skin could almost melt off. And you panic, the hunger burning in the back of your throat as you begin to run backwards, landing into the brick wall and starting to claw at the wall, desperate to get out. Please take me 1 superficial damage. And so Yaima and Kara, you see Norfi panic, and he's clawing at stone, making his fingers bleed.
I knew we need to get out of here. My skin was going to come off. I knew my skin was going to come off. We need to get out of here.
She like grabs Norfi and like kind of tries to calm him down a little bit.
Norfi is
Not
kind of
anything, just being kind, just putting her hands on his shoulders.
Okay.
Is,
And so, as this is happening, A4 and Bjarni, please make me wits and investigation. As you are saying that you are going to search through these bodies for what is underneath them. The rot on them is quite disgusting. Some of them fall apart like pudding, and then some of them have a bloat to them that when you shift them, they do pop.
Rather than that approach,
Okay.
would it be possible for me to make a survival check to look for signs that someone else has been in here and moving the bodies around and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. Make me. We'll consider it wits and survival since
Excellent.
you're doing it with a. Since you're doing it with intention.
I had 1 success.
Okay.
Ooh.
5 successes. And then 1 success for A4 in their investigation.
Yep.
And so, Bjarni, you do see there are drag marks along the ground where bodies have been drug in and piled up. And then as you're looking up on the wall, you see claw marks coming in sets of 4. So it's claw, 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 claw. And you see a door on the other side of the room that is heavier, a thicker wood, with clawing all around the edges of the door frame.
I'll just snap my fingers once to get Ifora's attention. And then I will quietly approach that door and listen.
And so, Ifor,
Yeah.
with your 1 as you're moving the bodies and they're popping and shifting, a mound of them proceeds to fall over itself, and you see something open its eyes,
Oh.
and a low guttural comes out of it as it as it begins to claw out. And as it makes that guttural noise, the second mound of bodies begins to shift and move next to you, Bjarni. And another face comes out. And as the face crests the top of the bodies, you see 2 sets of hands claw out, and then 2 more, and 2 more, and 2 more, as this rotted, patchworked serpentine body comes out, and 2 large expanses of flesh unfurl from the sides of it. What in your storybooks were scales and teeth are now flesh and mangled mouths, an amalgamation of what was once people, now the visage of 2 dragons.
I just let out a battle cry as I pull my sword and axe out and I start trying to hack its limbs off.
And so the other 3 of you hear the sound from the dragons, and you hear Bjarni yell.
Going to do a rouse check.
Okay.
I failed, so I do get hungrier.
So you are now at 2.
Yes. I'm going into horrid form.
Wonderful. And how would you describe your horrid form?
I already have a good weapon. So putting points into creating physical weapons on my hands is kind of null and void. I'm going to use the redistribution of attributes instead. I'm going to make my strength a 4.
Okay.
My stamina also a 4. My 2 remaining points, my body thickens with a chitinous armor.
Mm-hmm.
Like a carapace of some sickening lobster or crustaceous being. On my back, because I know we have Yahima with us, there are almost like handles and a footrest that if anyone who needs to get out or be protected, they can grab on to the back of my flesh as bone creates handles and foot places.
Wonderful.
And
And so the 3 of you at hearing this ruckus, what are you doing? Oh, you are
Yaima, we can't hear you.
On mic. I'm immediately hearing the sound. and kind of like turning around and bolting as if this was like second nature to her.
Okay.
I'm assuming I see I4 before I see Bjarni. Am I correct?
Correct. You see I4 and you see 2 large Vosd dragons.
Real quick, I can discern that they are like alive, like beings. Am I correct?
They are alive beings. They look to be a dragon form that was easily made out of maybe 20 bodies each.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, cool. Cool. So, just as I4 was describing, it's like they've done this before. She immediately jumps onto the back of I4, like hooking into his bone area, and she's gonna reach out her hand and kind of let out a hiss. And she is going to use, where did it go? Cauldron of Blood.
Oh man.
Which one will you be using it on?
The one that is probably is any of them about to attack Bjarni?
Yes, there is one about to attack Bjarni and one about to attack A4.
Oh well, shit. Sorry, Bjarni. I'm gonna help the one that's attacking A4.
I would prefer that anyway.
Okay.
And so this is a contested roll, so I will roll for the dragon.
Cool. Ooh, I gotta remember what I roll now. One rouse check. Ooh, successful. I do not get hungrier.
All right.
I gotta add more dice.
It's the
It's
best
never a
part
bad
of Cauldron
thing.
of Blood.
It's a lot of dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
To my 2. And so, given the armor of the Vol's dragon, that will be 2 points of aggravated damage to the dragon as it feels its blood begin to boil from the inside, and it lets out an unearthly roar as it comes down and 4 sets of claws swipe at A4. And A4, let's see here. Oh, that's more dice than I have. Okay, hold on.
Oh man.
So that is going to be take me 6 points superficial damage.
There's no dodging that, huh?
No.
So 2. Okay, is that with half because I'm a vampire? Or?
Yes.
Okay, plus my 2 for armor. So 1 superficial. Cool.
I'm going to quickly track their HP. One moment. All right. And so Norfi.
At the moment that Yaima runs out, she kind of gave him a kind of center
Mm-hmm.
and connected with him in a way that calmed him the fuck down. So when she bolted out of the room, he didn't even think twice. Immediately just started running behind her.
Okay.
And what he would do is the moment that he would see the 2 worms in that room, he would grab his axe and try to run up the back of I4 using soaring leap to try to jump on the backs of one of the worms.
Okay. And so you use soaring leap and you do land on its back. And the feeling of the flesh beneath your hands, it's wet and it's malleable, and the wings are flapping around you, trying to knock you off as it just continues to roar and buck at you. Kara, what are you doing?
Well, I'm not really combat, well, much of a warrior like they are, but I will draw my sword, my short sword, and I guess hold action until I see an advantageous moment.
Okay. And Bjarni, the dragon that has come up to you, its patted its way over to you,
Aw.
pressing you back against the door as it leans forward to look into your eyes, and you see these horrible eyes containing 4 sets of irises and pupils in each eye, and its mouth is multiple rows of human teeth. The throat, clearly multiple throats. The shoulders, what seemed muscular, appear to be multiple sets of shoulders leaning down into those multiple arms. And it uses its wings to cover you and it.
I am going to do 3 things.
Okay.
I'm going to rouse my blood twice
Okay.
to activate both my prowess and my... 1 second, sorry. Toughness.
Okay.
And then I am going to swing my bearded axe directly into its mouth.
Okay. And so,
While I'm just growling and staring it down.
okay, make me the appropriate rolls.
I passed both rouse checks.
Lucky, lucky.
And I got 9 success with a crit.
Wonderful. So with that, against this one's armor, it will take 5 points of aggravated damage. Let me track its HP correctly. And so you bring it through into its mouth, and the bottom jaw just comes off. And you're left with the top rows of teeth, now seeing that there are 6 rows of teeth. And the growl that comes out of it now is gurgling and wet, but still roaring as the hands begin to claw into your flesh, as if it's trying to dig something out of you. And let me make the roll for that versus what you are currently buffed to. Take me 2 points of aggravated damage. And so it begins clawing, tearing your tunic, getting into the flesh of you. And as it's doing that, you can see through the arms, there are chains embedded into the skin, giving it an almost armored effect to it.
Between my armor and my toughness, I took no damage.
Okay, wonderful. And so for the 4 of you at the other dragon, it does not like Norfi being on its back. And it is bucking and clawing. And then Norfi, something you hadn't accounted for. On the back, you are away from the arms, yes. But not the wings. And so the wings furl in, different from how a dragon's wings should behave. And you see long claws at the ends of it, easily 4 to 5 feet deep. And they sink deep into your shoulders and fling you across the room against Bjarni. Take 1 point of aggravated damage. And Bjarni, as you're being clawed into, Norfi slams into the wall beside you.
The Jormungandr.
They bleed.
Norfi is going to take his... It's a bold move. But Norfi wants to try to take his axe and throw it directly at the head of the Jormungandr that just threw him across the room.
Okay, so you want to check your axe. We'll consider that... Let's call that dex and melee, even though you're throwing it.
You get a +1.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, my Jarl.
And do remember that you each have an extra die that you may use for any of your rolls.
That was Dex plus what?
Dex plus melee.
Seven successes.
Wonderful. And so your axe embeds into the head of the creature and blood begins to pour down its face as it looks at you, Yaima. And it leans closer to bite at you. And it is going to attempt to bite. If you would like to make, we'll call it, let's say, Dex and Athletics, if you would like to try and dodge the bite.
Yes, please.
As Norfie throwing the axe gave you a heads up to its action.
Cool.
I was gonna say she is on my back. Could I move and also try and whack it as it's coming in for her?
We'll let her dodge first
Okay.
and then we'll do yours, because if you do that, it might bite you instead.
That's fine.
Okay.
It does. It does.
Woo! 3 successes.
9.
Damn it.
I'm gonna try and take that hit for her then.
Okay. So please take me, looking at its damage modifier, please take me 6 points of superficial damage.
Okay.
And you do manage to swing back up and get it, and it will take 2 points of superficial damage, which I will, there we go. And so its multiple rows of teeth sink into your neck as it tears off a chunk of your flesh. And Kara, as it seems to be preoccupied with A4, its neck and shoulders are completely bare to you.
I'm going to go for the neck.
All right. Make me Dex and melee.
As she's doing that, can I rouse the blood to heal?
Yes, you may.
Yes.
Two successes.
That's okay. At this angle, you are able to hit it, but that's only going to be a point of damage to it.
I'm helping.
And so, Bjarni and Norfie, to yours.
Well, since my first attack, I swiped across with my axe. I'm going to come back around with the broadsword that's in my other hand and just try to impale it through the face.
Through the face?
Yeah.
What's left of it? All right.
And while he's doing that, Norfie is going to run up to grab his. I imagine the axe is sunken inside the Jormander's
Yeah.
face.
It's into the skull, but not very deep.
Yes, he will go to grab his axe to rip it out viciously,
Okay.
hoping to do another action to try to hit it again in the face.
Yes,
That would be allowed.
yes, we'll consider that due to the angle that you're coming in on. I'll allow it.
8.
Bjarni?
Success.
8. Wonderful. So you are able to attempt to slam your sword into the side of its head, and it sinks pretty deep, but you feel a reverberation through your broadsword that feels like you hit metal. And your broadsword stopped before it went too deep, but it hit hard enough that the Vol's dragon goes back, grabbing onto its head, clawing at its head as it sinks into the flesh pile a bit.
Can
Yaima. Oh, yes.
No, go ahead.
Yaima?
I just found something exciting that I was thinking of using. I have another ritual that I would like to invoke.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that after the bite that occurred from the so-called flesh dragon, that the flesh dragon has some of Yaima's blood. Am I correct?
Correct.
Excellent. Yaima is going to pull out a ceremonial golden dagger. And I'm going to attempt to do Dagon's Call, if that's okay with you.
Go right ahead. Please let me know what you are doing.
Do you want me to read it? Because it's quite cool.
Go right ahead.
Please do, because it's super cool.
Pardon me with my fangs and not pronouncing things properly. A terrifying technique employed by the assassins of Banu Hakim, but it's also accessible to anyone who does blood sorcery. The ritual lets the user rupture the very blood vessels of the victims from afar, having only touched them but briefly previously. Hence the question with the bite from previously. Mortals expire rather messily, and even vampires must fear this silent killer. So basically, once I roll, the action that Yami would take is that she would actually stab her arm with the ceremonial sword or dagger. I said dagger.
Okay.
Which will end up going on to the flesh dragon.
All right. And so you do, and the dragon starts to clutch its body, and it lets out a blood-curdling roar as you can see blood begin to pour from open sores across the entire body, and it wrenches and writhes and sinks down into the flesh pile.
In case you wanted to know, I had 8 successes on that.
Oh my god.
Knowing your ritual roll, I knew.
Cool. Yeah.
And so the dragons appear to have sunken into the flesh pile. But could all of you please make me a resolve and medicine check?
Medicine.
I'm so good at this.
I'm going to use my extra dice that we are allotted.
Okay.
I am also using my extra dice.
Okay.
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I need to spend a willpower to help with this.
I've got
5, 3, 2, 3.
Okay,
Nice.
I'm gonna use a willpower, so give me a second.
Okay. 3.
5.
5.
Yeah.
4.
I for the medicine man.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
A little bit.
That's enough for all of you. Thank goodness you spent a willpower, Yaima. The room begins to smell strange. And something about the air feels heavy. You guys would remember this kind of feeling from when you've visited Yahima when she's burning herbs. But this smell is different. It smells like sweet lilies. And you're feeling strange.
Yaima, remind me, what was the name of your god of death?
Mumbayas?
Mumbayas.
Hmm.
It smells like Mumbayas.
Interesting.
Smells
And
interesting.
with your successes, you would know that there is something about the air, and if you cover your noses and mouths, it might not affect you as much.
Even if we don't breathe.
With your hands or claws or anything, preventing it from getting into your body.
I'm gonna hurt. Roll rouse check to fleshcraft.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna seal my nose.
Okay.
I mean, I have the rabbit pelt, so I'm gonna
Okay.
like.
I will rip a strip of cloth off my tunic and wrap it around my face.
Okay. Kara? How are you preparing for this fog?
I am pulling up like the longer part of my over apron and pushing it to my face.
Okay.
Norfie is ripping out pieces of his hair in chunks, and he's going to just shove it into his nostrils as deep as he can to try to block the airwaves.
Okay. And so as the room begins to fill with this noxious gas, you see one of the flesh dragons begin to claw out again. And you see something in its hand. A small box. And it crushes the box, causing a small explosion that carries through the fog as the fog is lit aflame all around you.
Oh no.
All of you, please take 3 points of aggravated damage for the flash bomb.
Did you say 3 points of aggravated damage?
Yes.
Does my armor affect that?
No, because at this point, the fog is all around your body. If you had let it get into your body, you would be dead.
All right. So I took one. Does the fire go away immediately?
Yes.
Okay.
Once it hits the air, it is a flash bomb, and then the fog and the fire are gone.
Is the flesh dragon still out of the pile, or did it retreat again?
It retreated.
The door with all the scratch marks?
It has opened.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn to that door.
Heard. Same.
Likewise.
I'm on I4's back, so
Mm,
Whether you like it or not, you're on the go, or I4, what are you doing?
I'm going towards that damn door.
And so you hear a voice from inside
Oh no.
that says, "Who is disturbing my babies?"
I for the unpassable.
And the door opens a bit more, and out walks a tall man, impossibly tall, taller than Bjarni. Thin, with his arms a little longer than they should be, his legs a little longer than they should be, eyes a little wider, smile a little thinner. And he's wearing priest's vestibules, or vestments, with purple sashes over his shoulders, containing iconography all down it, language unfamiliar to you. And he looks at all of you and just grins really wide.
I like your worms. They're
Who
powerful.
are you?
Who am I?
I believe I'm closest to the door.
You are.
I believe I'm pretty much at the door.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to drop into a low spin and slam both my axe and my sword into the sides of his legs to cut him down to size.
Okay, and so before
That'll
you
work.
do that, or as you go to do that, as you go to do that, a low roar comes from the man as he sinks down into the dirt floor. And he comes back up on the other side of the room and says, "You came into my home, disturbed my babies, and now you think you're going to kill me. Who the fuck do you think you are?"
He is the Jarl Bjarni Odinssun.
And I am the father, and I acknowledge no fucking Jarl.
The father of what?
All that you see before you. And he is going to... He's going to look to the side, and he gives just a brief little... as 5 serpents come out from the walls and ready themselves in front of each of you, not moving.
Cool.
You have one chance to get out. Yes, Yaima.
Can I enact mesmerize on this person? I doubt it's gonna work, but
You can attempt.
I can attempt. I'm gonna try. This is when I should have used the extra dice. Oh, 1 rouse check. Boop. I'm good on the rouse check. There it is. 1, 2, 3. Cool. I'm gonna use a willpower here.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 successes.
5 successes. Wonderful. And so you bring your mesmerize forward, and he fixes his gaze on you. He goes, now you are something magnificent. You would make a beautiful dragon.
Right. No. You are going to tell these serpents to go away, and you're going to let my friends go.
And he raises his hands, and the serpents return and swirl up his legs and go to drape over his shoulders. And he looks to Kara, transfixed on Kara for a moment, and approaches her. And you all see him go and stand in front of Kara, just staring at her for a moment. And then he turns to Norfi. He walks to Norfi, stands in front of him for a moment looking, and walks to A4, again staring, and finally to Bjarni, just transfixed by everything. And he steps back. He looks to the door and looks to the rest of you. He says, this will be your final warning, heathens. Get out of my house.
Before we go, there are 2 things that I'd like to know, because I'm impressed by the worms and the snakes, the control that you have created such beauty. I am transfixed at your history from where you come. And I wonder, why is it that you are so far away from us, so far away from the ground? How is it that you are so high up into the sky? As Norfi rolls, he becomes hungrier.
And so that burning in your throat, it feels like fire. The rage building in you. You'll do anything to bring down this asshole.
The dementation that creeps in.
For your dementation, please roll me your manipulation and dominate versus the father's composure and intelligence.
Ooh, okay. Manipulation and dominate. I'd like to spend a willpower.
You can go ahead.
Five successes.
To my 9. Critical. And he goes, "It is interesting that you're so far from the ground." And Norfie, you almost feel like you're going into the ground yourself. And the images that you were trying to implant into the father's head now feel so real to you. Were you giving him thoughts, or were you thinking of what's currently happening to you? And he turns to A4. He goes, "Brother,
Hmm.
you have acumen that only I can understand.
And now you.
I have a dream to cover this countryside and my beautiful children. You could join me. 2 dragons could easily become 4, and 8, and 16, 32,
Hmm.
doubling our work. If you allow yourself to walk free, or shall you continue to be a puppet of this dog Jarl?"
Cool. On that note, I'm going to blood surge.
All right.
I fail, so I'm hungrier. That's okay.
You're at a 3?
2.
2. You're at a 3 because you were 2 earlier.
No, I was only 1. I started at 0.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I'm going to hurl both my sword and axe at him as I start charging forward and use Metamorphosis, which I will roll the rouse check for in a second.
Okay. And poor Kara is just in fear.
Father. You call yourself the father.
Hmm.
He is no dog. He is a bear.
And that's 10 success on the throw.
Okay.
And then, as he says that, successful rouse check to Metamorphosis as I'm charging into a massive bear form.
Okay. And what will you do once you are a bear?
Launch myself at him, land on him, and sink my jaws into his throat.
Okay. And so he lets you do that.
Excellent.
He takes it.
Cool. I
And,
start drinking.
and he proceeds to lay back and allow it. And then as you begin to drink, he just goes down into the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And he is down into the ground now. Gone. And you hear his voice from somewhere in the room. It just says, "I knew I was right with you filthy heathens. So undignified. Incapable of knowing the true power we hold over these filthy humans. It is a shame. You could be capable of such greatness, of your name being remembered through the ages as the true masters of this world."
Gods.
And what is your name?
Sebastian.
Until today, we have never heard of it before.
By design, my dear.
Oh, some of us are more well-traveled than others.
When one wishes to conquer the world, it is better that people only learn your name when you own it. And he is going to come out of the ground with a broadsword to run through Bjarni for 7 successes.
Can I rapid reflex and knock that away?
You can rapid reflex to either stop him from the ground or stop him from ramming through Bjarni with the sword.
The second one.
Okay. You are able to deflect the sword, and instead he slices Bjarni.
How much does that reduce the damage by?
That will reduce the damage down to, let's call it 2 aggravated.
I don't take any.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna do the same thing I was gonna do before.
And bite at him again.
Yeah, but this is like full body tackle. Slam him against the wall and just sink my jaws into his throat.
And so as you go to do that, he grabs onto your muzzle. And let me roll. And you feel your muzzle go soft as he proceeds to crunch and bend and rip your muzzle up and over, flesh crafting your very mouth away from you.
I am going to react by ripping my claws upward through his torso.
Okay. Make me strength and brawl.
$14.
14. Wonderful. And so your claws do come up, ripping up his body as he will take 3 points of aggravated damage.
Yanima.
And so, yes, A4.
Oh, Yanima's got something going on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I have fleetness, so I'm assuming that Yaima is gonna react pretty darn quickly when this stuff starts to happen. So she's gonna kind of show up and kind of like hold her hand out again and hiss yet again, and she's gonna unleash Cauldron of the Blood.
Okay. All right, so we will roll against each other.
Success on the rouse check.
Oh, Bjarni, you drank from him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Your hunger might go down.
That I was
He
I
did
able
not
to
get enough. He didn't get enough before Sebastian went into the ground.
I'm gonna spend a willpower just in case, just to make this gorgeous. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes.
5. So he takes 4 points of aggravated damage, and his hunger goes up by 4.
If possible, while this is happening, I will rush him and fleshcraft him if I can.
So once he hits the thirst level, he frenzies. And he goes straight for you, Yaima.
Cool. Great. Awesome.
And he's going to jump onto you, onto A4's back, and try to bite into your neck to drink.
Can I dodge?
You have the ability to dodge.
I was like trying to see if any of my rituals help me here.
Norfie is also going to use Soaring Leap
Okay.
behind him, screaming at the top of his lungs while trying to drive his axe into the back of the fiend.
Okay.
What was the dodge again? It's Dex and athletics.
Athletics.
2 successes.
2. You do successfully get out of the way, but he is wild right now in this moment. And Kara, as you're watching the carnage in front of you, your eyes roll back for a moment and you are granted a vision of 2 Vod dragons that have climbed from out the flesh pit, healed, and approaching the door behind all of you. And your vision snaps back. You're muted.
There are more dragons coming. This is not good. This is not good.
And so, Yaima, what you dodged?
Yes.
Okay. And so, as he frenzies, he is now going for Norfie next.
Now, Norfie threw himself at him.
Yes. But as he broke away to go after to bite Yaima, he is now turned back towards you.
Yeah, so we're having a real
Yeah.
real moment.
So he's grabbing onto you, going for your neck.
I'm going to use compel.
Okay.
And I'm going to I'd like to tell him very loudly how useful the gods are, as we are all gods and we should all be useful towards one another.
And what is the compel that you are trying to give him?
I'm really just trying to manipulate him to not bite my neck,
All right.
but I'm trying to use his ego a little bit and to compel him as well and use my kindred powers. Or I'm sorry, Einherjar?
Einherjar.
Einherjar. See, I was the one that screwed it up.
And so instead of biting you, he grabs onto your chest and rips your flesh, trying to take out your heart.
Oh, okay.
So please take 2 points of aggravated damage.
2 points of aggravated damage.
Yes.
Mm.
There is something on his hands, and it burns more than you can imagine.
I have another move if no one else is moving.
Yeah.
I4 had something he wanted to do.
Yes.
Wait, I've got a big issue though, because I'm running out of aggravated damage here,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe I'd like to make some kind of rouse check.
Increase stamina.
Yeah.
And I failed. I got a 1.
Are you down, Norfie?
Oh, Norfie is down.
Is Norfie ash?
How much ag have you taken?
All of it.
So you're just at full?
Mm-hmm.
Torpor, right?
Yeah, that's just torpor.
Yeah. So you are down and torpid. And so you all see Norfie drop torpor to the ground. And Sebastian stands back up, breathing heavily, though he can't breathe. The hunger just coursing through him as he is frenzying. He goes, I can make you kings, and yet you fight like petty children.
Do not make us anything. I frenzy because these people are my touchstone convictions. I'm going to ride that frenzy until I drink his entire soul, if possible.
Okay. You wish to attempt to diablerize him.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was gonna do.
Avenge me.
Yes,
While
Tara.
Ifor's doing that, I'm going to go and grab Northby and try to pull his torpid body out of the line of fire.
Okay. And so you do pull Northby's body out, and A4, you attack him, and he is fighting just as hard. Yaima.
Can I assist I4 with something? I do want to stop him from diablerizing.
Okay. So that will be, I imagine, we'll call it a strength and brawl roll to pull him off before he can diablerize.
So, if I may,
Yes.
if it's possible, I'd actually like to use one of my rituals. So I'm not actually stopping I4 like physically. I'm
Okay.
trying to kill Sebastian before I4 does.
Okay, go right ahead.
The ritual I'd like to use, if it's okay with you, is Shaft of Belated Dissolution.
Go for it.
So it's the stake that will just end it all.
All right, go right ahead.
And my muzzle is still kind of like twisted back here, right?
Yes.
Okay. But I can see perfectly fine. I am going to charge, and I am going to attempt to grapple by basically shoving my claws through him and holding him in place.
Okay.
It's going to take me
So
a
you
second
essentially
to roll that.
you just want to freeze him in place for whatever's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's going to take me a second to roll that, so.
Yes.
Okay, I need a little bit of help on understanding what I need to roll here. I'm not understanding it in
Okay.
It might
What
be
page is
resolve
that
and
one
blood
on?
sorcery, right?
It doesn't say. So I already passed my 2 Rouse checks.
Wonderful.
Says it
Let me-
ritual takes 5 hours to finish, but I'm assuming she already had that on her persons ready to
Yes.
roll. I mean, it's just a normal attack, so yeah. Do you just want me to do blood sorcery and?
Let me find. I'm finding the ritual for you
Yeah.
because I think what we'll call this, because you already would have had it prepared.
Yeah.
So yeah, with it prepared, I think we would just say this is just going to be an attack roll.
Okay.
Because it's more about getting the stake into him,
Mhm.
since you had the stake pre-prepared.
So can I say that I have my bow and arrow, and I'm actually gonna put the stake onto the?
Yeah,
to the
you
bow?
can make your you can have your arrowhead be the stake.
Perfect.
So are we counting that as firearms, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll consider it firearms.
Cool. And then what else do I need to add to that? Oh, shit.
Let's call it, just to make sure it really goes in, let's make it strength and firearms.
Okay.
Because you have to pull the bow back.
While she's doing that, I spent a willpower to re-roll non-successes, and I have 18 successes with 2 crits.
Wonderful.
And that's ag damage, by the way.
Wonderful. 4. So fantastic. So Bjarni, you go running up behind him. You sink your claws in, managing to get right at his hip joints to where he can't move his legs now. He is completely frozen.
I lift him up a little bit so he can't sink into the ground, too.
Okay. So you disconnect his feet to the ground. And Yaima, you leaning back on A4, draw your bow and fire it, the arrow sinking deep into his chest as he falls and disintegrates slowly around the arrow, falling to ash as the arrow drops to the ground.
Aww.
Trust me, what you were attempting to do is not something that you want to suffer with for much longer.
I
And
headbutt.
Kara,
Sorry. I was going to say,
Oh, no,
I just headbutt I4. And I'm like, My muzzle
And
is like behind my head. I'm like, fix me.
Kara, you hear pounding and clawing and scratching. They're coming.
The dragons are still coming.
I succeed my rouse check to fleshcraft, and I'm going to fix Bjarni's bear face.
Okay. And so Bjarni is now a normal bear again. Norfi, safely protected by Kara. Just in time for two Vol's dragons to show themselves in the doorway, letting out a guttural roar.
And I return one.
And that is where we are going to leave this story.
No! Ah!
Thank you all so much. If everyone wants to go around the circle and say your socials and where everyone can find you, we'll start with Yayima.
Hey everyone, I'm Cynthia Marie. You can find me on Twitter at CynDancer or Instagram Cynthia__Marie. I'm constantly popping up on different shows, so I can't even tell you what's coming up next. Just go look on my social media because sometimes I literally pop up like within 24 hours of taking a game. So I do have one game that's coming up. Actually, I have several games. Let's see here. Thursday, I'm going to be doing Purgatory Cafe on one of the channels that I help produce, Live Action Roleplay, where I play a boardroom angel, and I'm going to be facing off with a boardroom devil. So check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then that's Thursday. And then Friday, I am continuing part 2 of Gods of Metal on Hunter's Entertainment, where we are play testing a game. It's Gods of Metal Ragnarok. I just played that yesterday. So much fun. If y'all love music, there's so many like awesome connections. But outside of that, just check out the social medias and it's all over the place. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you for joining. Norfi.
I am Norfi, otherwise known as Mark Q. Anderson of Gehenna Gaming. You can find me on Twitter at Marchosius with 5s instead of S's, but I'd rather you follow Gehenna Gaming, where all Gehenna Gamings are sold. If you enjoyed tonight's game, I highly suggest you check out next week's Saturday night one-shots, where we're going to be continuing our Contagion Chronicle saga. And I believe that game is going to be Geist the Sin Eater with Nick GMing. That's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, check out everything Virtual HorrorCon. I had a blast with this game, and I believe... Is it okay if I share this information?
Yes, it is, because I was going to if you didn't.
So if you liked this story, we're going to continue this story, or maybe prequel this story, with our little buddy over here down below me, I4, talking about Rick Wheeler being GM for the continuance of V5 Vikings during Virtual HorrorCon. Date to be determined. Stay tuned within the next week or two. We're going to be releasing the schedule for everybody. But thank you so much for watching.
Absolutely. And I believe that with Rick, with you GMing, that means there's going to be a spot open for a player. So we might be having some sort of Celt joining us.
Yeah, so I'm almost positive that our lovely and fantastic Jarl Skuna will be playing as a character, which she's gonna have to submit to me and like send in so I can know who she's playing. And I'm super excited for that. But if everyone's free for this game on Virtual HorrorCon, I'd love to have everyone back and to either continue where we left off or do a prequel. I mean, everyone lived, so I'm more leaning towards we continue.
Mostly.
Yeah. Cynthia, are you in? Yes. Oh yeah. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you so much for joining us on this game. This was so much fun.
Yes,
Oh my god. Okay, so that's me. Who's next?
Kara.
Kara.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Fassett, aka Kara Haftansdottir. You can find me at Rosie Rexit on Twitter, also on Twitch, which I stream infrequently thanks to a new day job. But you can also find me just hanging around the Gehenna Gaming Discord. And coming next week, because we've been mentioning so many dragons, the Scion Dragon Kickstarter launches next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So keep your eyes out. I'm going to be so happy to see one of the books I wrote on get out there, and please go out and support us because it's going to be a double Kickstarter. It's going to be Scion Dragon and Scion Mass of the Mythos. So if you like Cthulhu and love crafty horrors, bring it into your Scion games, everyone. And dragons.
Love it.
That's a cool fucking game.
Yeah.
And next would be
My hot
our
take.
A4.
Hi, I played A4, the Zameets, and I ran into some bizarre cousin tonight that I did not expect. Didn't join him, didn't go the path of evil like I usually do. So, I'm sure our friend Puppy Lover's like, he's totally going to join him because that's sometimes what happens. But no, staying by my Viking pals, can't break tradition. These guys are my entire touchstones. You can find me on Twitter at Oops All Setite and the Gehenna Gaming Discord, where I hang out with all of these wonderful people and many more. So thank you for our storyteller and all of our guests tonight. I'm going to pass it over to our Jarl Bjarni. Who are you and where can they find you?
Well, I'm Ian E. Muller. I'm the VP of Strategy for Gehenna Gaming and one of the regular GMs and streamers for us. And tonight I played Bjarni Odinssun, a character that is near and dear to my heart. And you can find me online as @Ravnos on Twitter, or primarily on the Gehenna Gaming Discord, or where all things Gehenna Gaming happen. That's all I'm going to say for now.
And I have been your Jarlskona storyteller, Ellie Collins. You can find me on Twitter at Ellie_A_Collins. Instagram, I think I'm Ellie.A.Collins. You can catch me on Tuesdays, storytelling ATL by Night, a V5 Chronicle set in the city of Atlanta. We just came back for our 4th season, and we are already dealing with some Sabbat shenanigans in town. And then on Sundays, you can catch me on Iron City by Night over on Carrion Comfort Studios playing Madeline the Nosferatu. And I'm sure I have more coming up that will be on my Twitter.
I guess I should have mentioned that I will also be in both of those things this week.
That's probably a good idea.
I also need to mention that Zach from ATL by Night actually plays in my Cult Divinity Lost game, Echoes of the Past. This week on Wednesday is the final episode. We're doing a jam pack. We keep calling it double stuffed. I don't know if that's appropriate. It's going to be a jam packed double stuffed episode. It's really going to be kind of 2 episodes in one, a mega episode with some amazing people, including Zach from ATL by Night, along with Nick. Yes, Cynthia.
Real quick, I wanted to make a quick shout out because there's a lot of people talking about the makeup that we all have, and wanted to talk about where my makeup actually came from.
Please do.
So, not sure if anybody heard me in the beginning, but I'm Puerto Rican, so we are Borinquen or Taino Indian, and there is an incredible artist on Instagram called Boricuale, and I can put that in the chat. But I was actually talking to the artist, and this is the makeup from one of the comic books that they draw, is one of the characters. So I asked if I could use it on the stream, and they were super excited. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Go check out their Instagram. It is beautiful, and you can find out more about Puerto Rican culture through their comic books on there.
I love that comic.
And research those people because they wound up in this game, and they are fantastic. And I love that the whole design looks so good.
And that's what's great about the Vikings. They connected with so many cultures, so it gives us a way to highlight the wonderful Tainos.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this, and I'm sorry. I have to also suck up the oxygen of the room yet again. I need to make a very serious statement. We just played a Vikings game, and there's something that we say to each other often behind the scenes, and that's bigots don't get into Valhalla.
There are no Nazis in Valhalla.
there are no Nazis in Valhalla, and more importantly, historically, the Nordic Vikings have always been very accepting of other cultures coming into their culture and embracing them with a warm embrace and participating in the blut like we participated in earlier today when Yahima and Kata killed a rabbit. And I think it's important to understand that and embrace that and to look at history.
Yeah,
That's my statement.
as someone whose
Love it.
ancestors came from that part of the world, if you don't think Vikings weren't gay, poly, and slept their way halfway across the world, you are wrong, and you can go die mad. And that's all I have to say on the matter.
Thank you so much for this. This is the first time I've been able to play Dark Ages, which is what got me into Vampire and tabletop gaming. This is the first time in 18 years I've been able to play Dark Ages, so I'm super happy about it.
Thank you all so much for joining me. This was an absolutely huge joy of a story to tell. I have been so anxious about it for so long, and
Okay.
these have all been wonderful players to be blessed with. I am super lucky.
Well,
Thanks for running this. Thank you so much.
Right?
Yes.
Been looking forward to this for like a month or two.
and thank you everyone who tuned in and watched. Thank you to Carrying Comfort Studios and the Nat 30s for giving us raids during the stream. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back, like I said, during VHC for part 2, like we hinted at, and make sure you check all that out and enjoy the rest of your evening, as I'm sure the rest of us will. So,
Gehenna Gaming forever.
good night and farewell.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, if I can figure out how to do this.